right, guys, it's another Sunday Night Live session. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Watercraft Journal. My name is Kevin Shaw. We're here having a Sunday Night Live session. So thanks again for tuning in. I know this one wasn't announced until really early this morning. Quite frankly, I have been totally committed to a major event that is going to take up all of next week for me, all of this week for me. And that is the 2022 Hot Rod Power Tour. And we're going to be doing that in my other magazine, which is Mopar Connection magazine, in my 1969 Dodge Charger. My brother and his youngest son have joined me, and we're going to be driving that thing for well over 1,000 miles. So yeah, I'm pretty stoked to do it. It's kind of a bucket list item for me. So unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time tonight. I didn't have any time to plan a lesson or plan a topic to talk about. So really, I'm just taking questions today. I'm going to hang out for about 35, 45 minutes. Not our normal hour and a half. Definitely not a 2-hour session. But I wanted to answer a lot of your guys' questions. Wanted to pick up where we left off on some other topics. If you guys want to bring things up. I didn't even bring out any prizes for today, unfortunately. But the one announcement I do have is that the red jerseys are in stock. They are not in the store yet because I'm waiting for final photography of the actual product so that we can put them on the store. We have like 5 or 6 XX jerseys left in blue, and those are still at $30, which is half the cost of what we had before, just because they're discounted. So we want to clear out the blue ones. If you have a XX, you want to wear a red one and a blue one. As soon as we put the red ones on the store, you'll be able to buy them. So that is the news. They are in stock. I'm waiting on pictures to update the store. And everybody, Billy is here. And I hit the microphone. Billy's here. Hello, Billy. Okay, Billy just came back from Mudbug. I'm sick that I wasn't able to do that. I really wanted to do Mudbug, but I have been putting in insanely long hours making sure that my car is running right. So unfortunately, I am doing exactly what Jesus told me not to do, and that I am serving 2 masters. The 2 magazines are just tearing me in half. So we are going to we got some good questions coming up. So let's do that. I'm just going to start answering questions. It's going to be a lot of quick ones. We're going to do this fast and quick. I thought these would be kind of fun, kind of a lightning round, and we'll go from there. So Tyler asks, is the red jersey available? Yes, it is. I just answered that. Okay. Jay Hoofy says, we don't care about your stupid car power tour. We're here for Watercraft. Well, that's too bad because I like the car stuff more than the jet ski stuff. That's not true. That's not true. I just swing like a pendulum. Days when the car is kicking my ass, I want to do jet ski stuff. Stuff when the jet ski stuff is driving me crazy, I want to do car stuff. Okay. All right. Hi, can someone Tarek ask, can someone tell me why there was smoke slash okay, let me try it again. Tarek asks, can someone tell me why there was smoke slash steam coming out of my brand new GP 1800 when I was flushing it? Was it hot? Yes. Understand that when you flush a watercraft and it's running and it's not a Sea-Doo, that water is running to cool the engine, and it's also being fed through the exhaust. So your water box is in fact being filled with water, and you can blip it out with a little bit of throttle. So you're hyper humidifying the exhaust. There's water in the bottom of the water box, and you're running water through the engine. So you have a lot of exit water that has some velocity being pushed out of it. So hopefully that answers your question. All right. Because that's where the exhaust pipes are. Okay. That was an easier one. All right. Kevin, what is the latest on the jersey? I've been checking the website every day. I will make an announcement on the Watercraft Journal when the red jerseys are available. They are here. We have them. I don't have them here personally in this office, but they are in stock. We're just waiting on some photography so that we can put them up on the website. Okay. Kevin, what's up? And hey, okay, let me try it again. Here's Billy. Missed y'all at Mudbug. Just got back a few hours ago. Awesome time, like always. I'm sick over it. I'm really hoping to be there in October. So I want to do the October Mudbug. I'll bring one of the girls with me. So Billy, plan on me being there. Christopher Mueller asks, when do you see PWC becoming? Excuse me. Christopher asks, when do you see electric PWCs becoming mainstream? Well, it's going to take a while. Sea-Doo will be the first of the mainstream. I got an invite by Taiga Watercraft to go out in July to go test ride the new Orca. Unfortunately, it falls exactly in the middle of a photo shoot that we're doing for Sea-Doo with the GTX, and I'm kind of locked in with Sea-Doo on that one. So I let the people at Taiga know that I was unavailable for that week, but I could make time another week. Just, throw me some dates. I haven't heard back yet. I'll follow up. Well, it's going to not be this week. It's going to be next week. But yeah, that the electric PWC thing, Sea-Doo, of course, as we know, is working on, you know what? I left the halo light off. Sorry, guys. We know that Sea-Doo is working on the eGTI, which is their electric GTI. I don't know any of the power output numbers. I don't know anything about the battery life. They're pretty hush about that. What I do know is when the electric GTI comes out, you'll see an electric switch. Those powertrains will be interchangeable. They'll not interchangeable, but they'll be shared. If that wasn't clear. So, what about Yamaha? What about Cowie? Cowie, I think, will be the very last one if it is mainstream. I highly doubt that you will see a lot of docks that have effectively a rapid charging station. I don't see that happening. Not for a very long time. Even despite the current administration here in the U.S., we will probably be slamming the brakes on all the Green New Deal BS early next year, given the way that things are polling right now. Republicans are up 8 points in basic polling, and that's not Rasmussen. That's like pretty widespread polling. And the last time Republicans had that much of a lead was after World War II and gave us the Eisenhower administration and carried us through civil rights. Republicans passed the Civil Rights Bill in '64 and took us through basically until Watergate. So when the public wants conservative values placed back in society and conservative fiscal policy put back into government spending, things tend to work out. So we have a high probability of things improving very, very quickly. Does that mean that Kawasaki and Yamaha are going to jump onto the Yamaha train or onto the electric train? Not really. It means that electric will be handled smartly, not be ramrodded down to everyone's throats, and that our energy policy will hopefully gravitate more towards something that is sustainable, which is a more balanced blend of traditional renewable energies, because oil does regenerate, oil does renew. Sorry, that's truth. All right. It doesn't empty out giant pockets underneath the earth like the Rockefellers made you think 120 years ago. It is not made out of dinosaur bones. It's not dinosaur bones. So let's just move on. All right. Let's see here. Billy, Billy, Billy. Everyone's saying hi to Billy. Is there a reason jet skis are supercharged and not turbocharged? Not sure if this is obvious or discussed. Flatline, very good question. Honda was the only manufacturer to produce a mainstream manufactured turbo application for a four-stroke runabout. And the reason why many manufacturers are not really inclined to go turbo is first there's the concern of plumbing. There's a turbo plumbing requires a lot of real estate. Even when it's tight, and I've seen some beautiful turbo kits. I mean, really, really awesome turbo kits. The guys in Hydrodrags are doing it. CRT's doing it. I've seen a lot of really beautiful turbo kits on Watercraft. They work. They are successful. But it's a real estate thing. It's a heat thing because you have a lot of hot plumbing moving. You have a lot of hot plumbing moving things around. And one of the other caveats that I was told was there was a minor concern about having dry exhaust, an actual dry header, and having the cylinder head running dry exhaust and then water injecting on the other half of the turbo, because you don't want water and air trying to spin a turbo. That's not going to go well. So Honda, if you looked at the Honda's exhaust system, they had a dry header. They did not have a water jacketed exhaust manifold. And that exhaust ran into the turbo, spun the turbo, went into a water injection and blew the water out to cool the exhaust through the water box and out the rear. So it takes a lot of re-engineering. The cylinder head has to be different. The way the waters ran through the cylinder head is different. And it's a lot of plumbing, a lot of room. And that's why, and to the effect that you also have a really strong, don't get me wrong, all this gets kind of ironed out with modern tuning, but you also have a very high surge factor, especially because you're offloading and loading the throttle so much that you're going to get a surge factor. And, when the boost kicks in, that's something that happens with turbos. That's why guys will sit there and they'll get on the throttle and then they'll just haze the tires 40, 60 feet into a burnout. It's because the turbo goes, the exhaust builds up all that pressure. And that when that pressure hits the turbo and that turbo spools up and that goes through the intake manifold, boom, that engine's ingesting a lot of positive atmosphere. So there's nothing really negative. There's nothing that's like a big smoking gun to say, oh, hey, listen, turbo's a bad application. It's not. But for mainstream John Q public buying these things, a supercharger is a little more user-friendly. It's also a little more service-friendly. So, again, there's a lot of different factors, but it all comes down to service time, ease of use, and mitigating any sort of issue. And a lot of this was actually re-edified in the conversation that I had with Sea-Doo at the Switch presentation when I was sitting down with the head of product development for Sea-Doo with Greg Gaddis, and we both said, oh, you guys are going to put the Turbo 900 in the new Spark. And they said, why? Why do you think that is? I said, well, you already got it. It's marinized, turbo kit, boom, it's done. And they said, well, we had the turbo kit. We liked the turbo kit. The problem is that it got really hot, and it's a Polytech deck. We didn't want the deck getting hot like that. And the exhaust or all the plumbing would have to run underneath the footwells alongside. And it was just a really tight, hot kind of a mess that they just kind of wanted to pass on. So supercharger requires the least amount. Oh, yeah, totally forgot about the intercooler for the turbo too. Yeah. Fitting a really big intercooler and getting that thing cool as well. So there's that. I realize that there's intercoolers on supercharged skis. I understand. But you add an intercooler, you add a turbo, you add a wastegate, you add all the plumbing for it. Then you add dry exhaust and then a water injection box. You start adding up really quickly. All right. All right. Brian says, two 2022 RXPXs all stock racing each other. What can be done to give one a competitive advantage, all while sticking with only stock rider weight, not an issue flat water? All right. So you and your buddies are having a heads-up race, okay? And they're stock to stock. They're unmodified, totally unmodified. Okay. Well, I will tell you that in our testing, Sea-Doo versus Yamaha, launch control on the Sea-Doo helped. All right. It gave the edge to the Sea-Doo when Yamaha wasn't equipped with it. You know, dollar for dollar, now that the new Yamaha does have launch control, what does launch control do? All right. Launch control, what launch control is effectively doing is that as the ski, when the ski begins, it is trimmed nose down. Okay. And the reason why it's trimmed nose down is to make sure that the ski is not leaping out of the water and losing traction, getting cavitation. I'm exaggerating, it doesn't go that high, but will porpoise out of the water. So they keep the nose down so that the pump will hook up, fill up, and gain all that thrust. And once it is hooked and it starts gaining mile an hour, that trim control goes all the way up, or where you've set it, depending on where you set it. And once it gets all the way up, now it's just riding on the very tail, and it's got the least amount of drag to speed up. That's number one. If you don't have launch control, which you do on your RXPX, but if you don't have launch control, you can do that manually. Start with the nose down, bump your way all the way back up so you get the nose out of the water. Okay. Number two, where do you put your weight? All right. You as a weight, you are a counterweight. The human being on top of that ski is a counterweight. So what you see in good drag racing, what you see in good launches, is that the racer is up over the bars as much as possible at the very beginning. And you go 1, 2, 3. And by the time you're at 3, you should be arms extended, weight all the way back, almost till your belt line is hanging off the back of the seats. I don't care if you're Supermaning. I don't care if your feet are crouched like a bullfrog as far back as humanly possible. And if you've got long arms, then you can get your weight all the way back there. But just as your ski starts to trim up with launch control, you want your weight right back here. So you have all the weight over the pump. So you keep that weight over the jet pump. And that way you're hooked. So a guy sitting there going, whoop, he's going to be slower than a guy doing those motions to get all the weight over the ski and get the trim up. Does that make sense? I hope that helps. All right. Horizon, is there any more endurance rides in the future? I've been so preoccupied with the Power Tour. I didn't do one in May. I'm not doing one in June. I didn't even do one in April. So I did March. We had fun, but there was only 6 of us, or 5. Yeah, there were 6 of us. So I really need help planning a new one. And I just don't have any routes planned. I don't have a location picked out. So I'm really up for suggestions. And if you guys want to email me at info@watercraftjournal.com, a route and a high mileage 1-day ride. I'm not doing a 3-day ride. I'm not doing some, Guinness World Book of Records ride. No one's going to do that. But if you have a really cool 300-mile or higher route that can be done in 1 day and has a little bit of versatility, a little bit of rough water, a little bit of smooth water, a little bit of glass, whatever. If you want to email me that route and we start planning something, I'm game. And we'll announce it and we'll go forward. All right. Question. Is there any major differences between the 2021 RX PX 300 and the 2022 and 23 models? I don't know what the 23 models look like. The only difference really is the tech package. You can order the tech package, get the dash and the sound system. And big difference is the dash. That and obviously colors. Otherwise, no, there's no mechanical differences between 21, 22, 23. Mechanically, performance-wise, no differences. Now, 23 has some potential. The Coconut Telegraph coming into me says there might be a fun surprise for the X Series Watercraft for 2023. So I don't have anything hard on that. I'm kind of 50-50 on that, maybe 65-35. But I wouldn't put money down on. So there it is. All right. Billy, did you hear anything else in regards to the knock sensor code happening with the 2022 Kawasaki 310s? Someone on the Green Hulk forum said his dealer heard there's going to be an update in software. Okay. Somebody emailed me asking about this, and it's happening. There's a knock sensor concern. And the knock sensor concern is happening not because of bad fuel, not because the engine's breaking down. It is engine management. All right. And it's new engine management software. The hardware came off of other stuff, but it is engine management software. And quite frankly, it's reading a harmonic that's not there. Or they're reading a harmonic and the computer's going, this sounds terrible. Something sounds wrong. And nothing's wrong with the ski. And so it's triggering the knock sensor, and the knock sensor retards the engine and says, hey, you need to go into limp mode. We need to get you home. And that's been detrimental to a lot of people who are like, there's nothing wrong with this. So a few people have taken their skis in and they've changed the actual sensor. They've changed some other stuff. And I haven't heard repeat offenses. I haven't heard of someone changing the sensor and then having it again. But what I wrote in the email was this is a software issue. And unless there is unless the sensor is operating at a different hertz level and it has to be changed, it can be updated in the software. So I wrote this in the email, I personally believe that there will be a software update in the future. How long in the future? Don't know. All right. What do you think the next innovation for Sea-Doo, Yamaha, Kawasaki, if any? Kawasaki's pretty much done for a while. Big stuff for Kawasaki is going to be next year. They are updating the LX platform. I have heard they're changing the name from LX to LS, S as in Shaw. And that's only because they don't want to confuse the LX with the luxury add-on LX models. Okay. So that's 23 for Cowie. 24 for Cowie will be the 310R and a very likely return of another very old ski that I feel they'll sell them. Will it shake the world? No. Is it a spark fighter? No. Will it fight the EX? No. Is it the 300 horsepower STX that I want them to make? No. It is. They are winding back the clock to 1990 on this one. And it's not a super chicken either. I teased it in the last one. Yamaha right now, basically, they're more concerned with bringing a lot of their production and supply chain in-house and making sure that their production runs butter smooth. That is what they are concerned about. So they are the Connect program and the Connect dashes are working very well. Reports of the first SVHOs on the new SMC hulls have gone very well. People are very happy with them. So right now, Yamaha and Cowie are kind of cool. The next big thing for Sea-Doo 23 is going to be the Spark. I do not expect the electric ski, the E-GTI. Maybe 24, but that's super early. Maybe 24. I just think that's early. I think it's going to be a 25. I really do think the E-GTI will be a 25. I really do. So we'll see. Electric switch. Nice playing horse. That's just, David, why didn't I think of that? Electric switch. Wow, brain fart. Okay. All right, let's see here. Landon, first off, thank you for the great content. Is there a reason you seem to lean towards the new skis over buying a used older ski for beginner riders? Maybe an early 4-stroke or a newer 2-stroke. The newer 2-strokes, like, dude, if you could get your hands on a GP 1300R, dude, it's a rocket ship. They're rockets, and I wouldn't put a newbie on that ski. Would I put a newbie on a GTX or an STXR? No. Would I put him on a GP 1300R? No. I mean, would I put him on an Ultra 150? Yeah, okay. But the problem is that a lot of new buyers, the idea of a 2-stroke and leaving the snail trail in the water makes them reel in horror. So most people who are getting into watercraft are a little bit more eco-friendly, and so they would want a 2-stroke. An FX 140, sure, there's a million of them. I mean, VXs, VX 1100s, holy crap, they're VW Beetles. A GTX, Fortec, what is it, like a 180 or a 165, I think. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 185 was the first supercharge. So it'd be a 155, excuse me. Yeah, okay, a 155. Yeah, you can get your hands on it. But I mean, I did a video on I did a longer video where I talked about my top 5 skis, and most of them were 6 years old and older. So, most of them were. So I suggest stuff that's 10 years old a lot of times. I mean, you can get your hands on a 10-year-old GTR 215. Buy it today. I love them. So, there you go. All right. Brandon, hey, Kevin, is there any must-do mods for my 2020 GP 1800R SVHO? Ribbon delete, yes. Ribbon delete is a good one. If you're going to modify it, I would do the stage 1 tune, because stage 1 tune basically doesn't need any mods. Cold air kit, ribbon delete. You can live or die. I mean, you can live without an impeller swap, but a ribbon delete, a cold air kit. There's something else I'm missing. I mean, I always go for sponsons. I always recommend sponsons. 20. Well, I'd put the new Riva race plate on there, but that's not a must-have. An ECU flash for sure. Wake that ski up. Oh god, that SVHO. You could do a stock 8000 tune, and that just kind of takes the speed control off. But if you're looking at modifying the ski already, just go stage 1. Stage 1's great. Call up Green Hulk. Use the Green Hulk coupon code, which is literally the word Green Hulk. One word, Green Hulk. Gets you 10% off. They'll hook you up with a map tuner and 1 free tune. And, dude, you'll be in like Flynn. You'll love it. Okay. New York fan 78. Waiting for a month now for the gauges and all. Is it worth just waiting for a 23? No, because the 23s are still the situation's the same, guys. The environment's still the same. And all these people are going to rush out thinking somehow the magic supply chain fairy is going to wave her pixie dust wand and everything's going to show up for 23. No. Sorry. So I don't know how to make it better. All right. Don't forget about Polaris having a turbo on their first ski. A few years back in the four-stroke world. I believe they did it in 2003, 2004. I might be wrong. Yes, you're correct. Is there anything we can do to our gas to combat or help the high levels of ethanol? And I just lost your question. High levels of ethanol content in our gas. Right now, your ethanol content has not changed. And I did a video on that. And I dedicated a video specifically detailing that your 87, 89, 91, 93 is all 10% alcohol. Ethanol. Boy. 10% ethanol. All right. E15 and E85 are the only two. Obviously, E85 is 85% ethanol. But E15 is 15%. And right now, they have not changed the ethanol content of your pump gas. So if you go to a gas station and see the bright yellow sticker that has the octane number on it, it will say contains up to X amount percent of ethanol. 8%, 7%, 9%, 10%, 15%, 85%, whatever. But the only thing that I suggest is if you're really struggling and somehow you're finding that you're getting gasoline with a really higher ethanol count, you're going to have to cut that or dilute that with pure gasoline. And so now you're going to two different gas stations. So it's not making life easy. All right. Is there some additional kits to add electric trim to the Yamaha EXR? Well, Yamaha does. Yamaha has trim on the Jet Blaster. The problem is that you're going to have to start changing quite a bit of stuff to put trim on the EXR because it communicates through the ECU. And I don't know the wiring harness well enough in the EXs to say, yes, you can plug in a trim control module, change the handlebars, change your pump, change your nozzle, change all that stuff, and plug it all into your existing ECU, and then believing your ECU will happily agree to letting you use trim. I simply do not know well enough to go, yeah, go ahead and start plugging stuff in and it'll work fine. I just don't know. Jeff, hey, Kevin, just ordered my first ski at 2022 GTX 300 Limited. Wow. That's a hell of a first purchase. What do I need to be aware of with this ski? Also, do you prefer the ski pull or do you just pull from the ski, wakeboard or tube? You have to pull a tube using the eyelet that's in above the transom line. Do not pull a tube using your ski pylon. Ask me how I know. You pull a wakeboarder, use the ski pylon. What should you look out for? The ST3 hull is problematic. The ST3 hull bow hunts. You will have the bars pinned, you'll be giving it throttle, and the nose will literally keep going straight or choose to go the other direction. Because if it catches a wake, or if there is a current, or if there is the lip of a wave coming, it will take that ski regardless of how much throttle you give it and how much you've turned the handlebars. It will do it. It will go wherever the hell it wants to go. It sucks. All right. I have serious qualms with the hull. Sponsons and an intake grate from Riva both will help. It'll help neutralize it, will not solve it. It won't solve it. I'm sorry. Just won't. So that sucks. But that being said, yeah, sponsons, intake grate, keep the tail planted. The best sponsons on the market for it are the Riva Pro Series sponsons. I have that GTX out there. I tried for half a day with the PwC Art sponsons. I took them immediately off. They do not belong on that ski in any way, shape, or form. you could screw 2 dead cats to the side of it and it would do the same damn thing. It was awful. The guys at PwC Art let me know that sponson was originally designed for the GP. They made an adapter plate for the RX-Px, and then they made an adapter plate for the RX-TX. They do not work well, and they do not engage the hull very well. The PX a little bit more if you're a really sporty rider. If you're trying to be a sporty rider on an GTX or RX-TX with those, no go. They're bald tires. Anyone who says otherwise is smoking crack. I'll die on that hill. I will. And I don't care if it's Anthony Raditic. I don't care if it's Troy Snyder. I will die on that hill. But Troy rides for Yamaha, so Troy doesn't give a damn what they do on CDs. Moving on. Okay. All right. 86 watching, only 26 likes. Come on, guys. Let's get the thumbs up. I like that. That's a very good comment. Let's get the likes up. You're here. You're queer. Get used to it. All right. Super Chicken comeback would be amazing. That would be funny. All right. Question or confirm. 2019 GP SVHO. Half speed about half the time, assuming the clutch is going. Oh, so you're only getting half speed? And it's alternating. You're like half the time it'll work great, other times it won't. That might be supercharger slippage, but you're more likely looking at impeller damage. So check your impeller first. Really get in there with a nice LED light. Make sure that all the leading edges of your impellers look good. Make sure that your hull health, the hull looks good. The impeller looks good. The shaft isn't bent. And I don't care if you're like, I've never hit anything. You've hit something. So do that. Then be concerned about your supercharger slippage. But before you check that, and if you're looking at being a mechanic yourself, take your throttle body off and tell me what the air ribbon's doing, because I bet you it's turned sideways. That's all I got to say about that, Scoob. All right. Peter, thought I would ask someone who rides one, new RXPX seats. When you ride with the passenger seat, it looks like it's just a flat seat. Do you find you tend to slide backwards with the lumbar missing? No, it's got a little bit of a hump. If your feet are wedged in, you're heeled in and your knees are tucked in the lock. Very rarely are you going, woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, the lumbar doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, at least for me. Kevin, how often does Sea-Doo change their colors on their jet skis? It depends on the model, but they often will introduce two. One will be a premier color and one will be a standard color. And they will rotate out the premier, make the standard a 2-year, and then offer a new premier color. Because again, it's premier, so you're paying an access fee, more or less. So, there you go. All right. Cooling upgrade you're missing? Is octane boost okay to use if I can't find premium gas at the marina? Here's what I recommend. Use premium every opportunity you can with your supercharged ski. Supercharged skis require premium. If you're at a ramp or you're at a marina and all they have is 89, all right, the highest thing they got is 89, and a bottle of octane boost in ratio to how much fuel you're putting in will help. What octane boost is effectively trying to do, I mean, fuel additives do the same sort of thing, is that they're basically trying to replicate the positive effects of leaded gasoline, which went out the way of the dodo in the 70s. But leaded gasoline was one of the best things that ever happened to gasoline engines. And environmentalists freaked out thinking that leaded gasoline was killing everyone. Well, that was to a degree, especially with two-stroke engines. Sorry. I can't believe I'm yawning on camera. That's rude. Sorry. That was really rude. Yes, you are correct. The MSX 150 and it did have a cold water jacket for the turbo. Main problem of turbo ski is overboost and jumps. Very true. Thank you very much. That is a very good point. Yeah, I did forget the MSX. Two dead cats. Let's see here. I've never had a problem. Maybe I just don't have weak legs. If I'm using the foot wedges, yeah. Quit wearing lycra running shorts when you ride your skis, guys. Wear a pair of board shorts. What are you doing? All right. Well, we're at 41 minutes. That is, can I use jet fuel for a ski? No. Can you use race gas 118 octane? No. More expensive hobby, watercraft or muscle cars? Muscle cars pay off. If you want to sell your car or flip car parts or sell the parts you're taking off your stuff, it's way more. No one's buying used jet ski stuff off your junk. No one cares. You know, it's funny. I had this conversation. I go, the one thing about jet skis that's different about motorcycles and cars is that no one holds a lot of love and nostalgia for classic jet skis. I mean, they go, oh yeah, that's really cool. Do you want to own one? Nah. And other guys are like, dude, I've always wanted to own one of these. It's on my bucket list. I won't die before I own one of these cars. Okay. It just seems very interesting that there's an impassioned audience for jet skiing. But boy, it just pales in comparison. I mean, I know people who've named their kids after cars. I'm not joking. People who've named their kids after cars. That's a little kooky. Try board shorts for 200 miles in English Channel. Okay, I will. And I have. Not in the English Channel. I race offshore in board shorts. But I don't sit down like a bitch. You're in the English Channel, you're standing up. Solved. All right. All right, guys. I'm at 45 minutes. So I knew this was going to be a short one. So yeah. You're going to listen, if you're on smooth water, if you're out there cruising, having a good time, the GTX is a treat. It's a great ski. If you're in rough water, you're out in Lake Michigan, you're out in the ocean, it's going to wrestle. It's going to fight you. It's going to fight you. That bow will fight you. And when I ask people, I always go, hey, listen, man, that's what the hull's doing. Well, I want all the bells and whistles and all the neat storage and all the doop-de-doop-de-doops. I said, okay, well, I did a whole video on what are your priorities when it comes to buying a new watercraft. What are your priorities? What's highest on your list? So that's kind of how I weigh it. Hey, thank you for the super chat. Have a great time on Powered Tour. Thanks, Roz. Appreciate that. Is there another question? Rough idle after it warms up. Smooth ones cool. Any suggestions? Not really. I mean, they rattle pretty, Oh. And you have 15 hours on new plugs. So the plugs isn't the problem. Guy. And this is just idling. This is in the water idling. So what hull for rough water? For comfort? Ultra. And the new Ultra is way better. because they lowered their center of gravity and you're deeper into the hull. You're actually deeper under the bond line. So it's actually really in there. Is it faster than the GTX? No. On smooth water, Ultra is going to lose. But yes, 100%, the Ultra is the best rough water hull there is. Ask anyone who's raced Catalina. Ask anyone who's raced the Carrier Jet. Ask anyone who's raced Mark Hahn. Ask anyone who's raced offshore. They're going to say Cowie. Cowie. Eric Francis was kicking everybody's ass on a Kawasaki. The only reason he changed is that he got a sweet deal with Yamaha. He's racing with Broward, and Broward's Yamaha. So Broward says, sorry, dude, you got to drop that big green Cowie, and you got to go with us. He goes, yes, sir. May I have another? But Eric Francis, using his own dime, was out there mopping the floor with people. Why? Because the Ultra was doing the work. All right. And it's a good cruiser. No, the GTX is a good cruiser. The GTX is so comfortable. The GTX has some of the best ergonomics, most comfortable seat, great access to storage, great handlebar placement. It's a comfortable ski. But again, how many of you guys are going 50 miles an hour in 2 to 3 foot chop? The people who've ridden with me know that Kevin Shaw rides like a bonkers freaking Looney Tune, riding standing up, and is heels under his shoulders, riding freaking hard through chop. And that's how I judge this stuff. Is what does the hull do in rough water? That's number one for me. Number one for me is what is the hull doing? Okay. A GP and an FX will feel every damn thing on the water, but it will go straight and chop. All right. They don't go erratically like this. The RX Pwcs and the ST3 hull all do that. So I don't tell you. And you know what? You don't have to listen to what I have to say. I mean, I'm not being a jerk about it. I'm like, well, screw you. You don't have to listen to me. It's not that. It's don't take my word for it. Find a friend who has one. Find a group that you can go ride and go, hey, man, I got a question. Hey, Joe, I got a question, man. I really like your GTX or I really like your Ultra, and it's a little choppy out here. Can you let me just go out there and burn a gallon or two? I just want to see how it rides. And he'll be like, oh, yeah, dude, totally. Or he's going to be like, this thing's a piece. You're not going to like it. Well, can I try it? Sure. Go ahead. Ask someone. Go on a group ride and ask someone. That's the best thing you can do. The best thing any potential buyer could do is bum a ride off of someone and go, hey, can I just try it out for 5 minutes? Because I love your ski and I was thinking about buying one, but I want to ride it for like 2 minutes. And the guy's like, yeah, go for it. Most guys will let you do it. If he's some anal jerk who won't, you don't want to ride with that guy anyway. But most people will like, absolutely, go for it. Okay. I mean, unless you're a kook, then I'm like, I don't want you touching my ski. So there's that. All right. I have the ribbon delete and the big Riva filter kit. Guy, okay, Cliff, you're killing me. You got to, why don't you email me info@watercraftjournal.com because I want to answer your question, but it's going to take a lot of back and forth. So why don't you email me a little bit later and detail the hell out of what's going on with the GP, and I might get Greg and Jerry Gaddis involved because I think those guys are nose to the grindstone when it comes to the GPs, and they might be able to help you out a little bit more than I can. All right. Agreed. Heat is hitting soon. All right, that's funny. All right, guys. Well, it's 50 minutes. I'm going to tap out. Again, I've just got so much going on. But the Monday newsletter is going out tonight because I'm up at 5 a.m. leaving for Power Tour in the morning, so I'm not going to have time to do it. So thanks again for tuning in. I know this was a short one. We only had 85, 90 people here today. And that's okay. It's a very, very short one. I didn't have a lesson planned. I'm just kind of BSing and answering some lightning round questions. So, guys, thanks again. If you do have questions, go ahead and email me at info@watercraftjournal.com. And hey, I got a lot of like this week. We got way more people, and I appreciate it 100%. Who wanted to throw a couple bucks towards the magazine, supporting the magazine for answering emails back and forth. If you want to do that, we have a PayPal account, and it's my longer company account. So if you email me and you go, hey, I'd like to, I really want to help. I really want to support the magazine or whatever. I'll send you the email address that you can do a PayPal to. But that's not a shameless plug for donations. I'm just saying if you want to do that, we'll give you the PayPal account for that. Okay, what else? Oh, and red jerseys, I'm hoping will be on the store this time next week. This week, I'm just off the map. So next week is oh, hey, holy crap. Okay, I'm doing something a little different. The Damn Tennessee Ride video goes live tonight at midnight. The Damn Tennessee Ride video goes live tonight at midnight. It's 14 minutes long. The article that is not the script. The article is a longer article, more detailed, different pictures. I got an itch. I think a bug bite on the back of my thigh. Sorry, it's driving me crazy. I swear it's my thigh. I'm scratching my thigh, I promise. I really like talking about jet skis. All right. But the article will be on Friday. So Monday the video, Friday the article with the video embedded in it. And that'll be that. All right, guys. We're done for tonight. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll talk to you soon.